All right, you know what? No, because I had a perfect intro for this video and I forgot it. So I'm gonna jump right into this. Hi, internet. I play Roblox games like a loser, and I bought early access to famous hit Roblox game Alter Ego on the Roblox platform. You can buy it for 25 Robux on Roblox.com, and it is bad. And I want to tell you how it's bad because I didn't think it would be this bad, but it's pretty shit. Roblox has a weird affiliation with asymmetrical horror games. At this point, they're not horror. They're people got in akin to calling them asymmetrical chase games because they're not really scary anymore. But Roblox has an affiliation for these games, and I really like them. I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, there's a lot of bloat in this genre," and I'm not like denying that. I think there is a lot of bloat in the genre, but I think there are a lot of games that have interesting ways to get around that bloat. Some of them don't. Some of them are very basic one note experiences of this is just an asymmetrical chase game, but a lot of them I think do interesting things with the genre that set them apart from the crowd, leading to well, not bloat, definitely, or not what am I trying to say? They do things that set them apart from the crowd that doesn't make the bloat better, but it does make every experience different individually. And the idea of bloating a game genre means it's just the same type of game just over and over and over again being regurgitated into the public. But a lot of these games don't really do that. And unfortunately, okay, Discord. Unfortunately, Alter Ego is not one of those games. Alter Ego actually kind of sucks. I bought it for 25 Robux, like I said, not thinking I would get a good experience. I did think I would get something. I did think I would find something I like about it, but I didn't. Um, but I did buy it on the basis of I heard about it and I heard people were like it's all right, and I was like okay, well I wanna know what like another game in this genre I like is doing, and it wasn't good. It wasn't good. I wouldn't recommend buying it. The first thing I was met with upon opening the game was a pass for 600 Robux for you to buy an alpha supporter pack so you could be like, yeah, I was there during the alpha. I like supported this game from the beginning. But the issue is you have to buy access to the game, so I don't really know why anyone would buy a 600 Robux pack considering it doesn't really do anything outside of give you skins. I don't really know what it does, but you pay for access to the game, so there's not a real point to paying more to support a game that you may not even like. And I do think I am right in criticizing this game's basically anything. I think I'm right in criticizing anything about this game because it does cost money, and if you make a game cost money, you are way more susceptible to being called shit. So, yeah, Alter Ego not good. A not good, evil, delivered a plague into my houses and fucked my wife. So the main loop of the game is one of the more it's actually just another basic side. So when people say this genre is getting bloated, I think this is what they mean because the game visually is not good. I think these are the same people that made some like World Tower Defense, I think, some Tower Defense Simulator, I think. And they just took the characters from that and put them in this game, which is fine. I mean, you can reuse characters all you want, but it doesn't make it any more visually consistent. And I think visual consistency is what matters because there's a map in this game that uses like the retro Roblox textures, and then there's the map you're probably seeing on screen right now that's like this really old castle in just the middle of fucking nowhere. In the footage I call it Pumpkin Hill, but you're not going to hear me calling anything. And it's like there's another one that's just a regular castle in like a green area, and it's just so boring. It's like the visuals suck, and there is that UI that fills like just a whole column of your screen that's really fucking annoying, and the abilities are in like they're like in a teeny box in the bottom right, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't look good. It doesn't feel good to play. It just kind of sucks. They don't like it, and I think that's important because visual consistency is what matters in a game like this. You want to be able to recognize what you are and what you're going to do at any moment. And even if it's bad, quote unquote bad, this game does objectively look good. I'm going to say that. I think it objectively looks good, but it's like, personally, it looks like shit. Or not like shit, but it just looks bad. And I think visual consistency is important because you want to make sure people know what they're doing. And the core gameplay loop really doesn't help this weird visual style, because not only does the game look kind of bad, the gameplay loop, the core loop, is really, really boring. What is happening on my Discord right now? What am I getting? What are they talking about? Core gameplay loop is it's super boring, and I really didn't like it. It's one of those issues in these games where it's the most typical version that you can find. The whole bit is that there are generators or fucking machines. You power the machines doing some puzzles, not puzzles in air quotes, because it's just actually quick time events. And and sometimes you get like the Among Us wires for no reason. It's like, yeah, you want to play Among Us in your Roblox game? It's like, no. I was like almost drooling at the fucking sensation because it like cut my brain off and I couldn't fucking enjoy it anymore. But yeah, it's like the most boring version of one of these games you can find. It's not even like visually charming. Again, like, I know I said visually consistent. I'm going to talk about visually charming now because, yeah, it's not that either. There's nothing here that grabs your attention and makes you go, oh, this is interesting. No, it looks boring and it plays boring and everything feels like shit, and it's gross and it's ugly and it's bad. It's gross and yucky. It's gross and yucky and it feels like grease. I put my hands on my screen, feels like grease, and that's not because I accidentally tripped and spilled grease all over my computer.
The grind set demands I hop on a few hours later.
So I recorded all of that at probably about 8 p.m. It is now 11:22 p.m. and I just wanted to expand on my thoughts here. Originally, this section was going to be about the survivors and killers, so I want to expand on that. The survivors in the game, I only played one realistically. There's about 4, but I couldn't be interested in the 4. There's Noob. A lot of these games, by the way, let me point this out. A lot of these ASIM horror games tend to have Noob as the playable character, and it's like, I can't tell why. I guess he's recognizable, but you can reasonably replace Noob with an entirely original character 90% of the time, and you would not have to deal with that issue. But Noob is the starter character, and the character that you get it. Noob is your starter character. And I did not play him for longer than my first match because once I read his abilities, I realized it was boring. And I read everyone's abilities in the survivors department, and it was really, really boring. Every survivor was they sucked. They didn't suck. It was the most basic, typical shit you could get out of a survivor. Noob had a speed boost and a stun, and it's like, I feel like a lot of characters in these games have a speed boost and some type of stun or stall ability. And the character I played, Patient Zero, no fucking idea. They had the ability to self-heal and to go invisible, and that was super mega ultra basic. That is probably the most amount of people I met in this game were playing Noob or Patient Zero because they're super easy and really boring, admittedly, and they're just like super survival. So yeah, their whole point is to do the very boring generators. Then there's Commander and Barbarian. I think Barbarian is just Shedletsky Forsaken. I don't fucking know. And the Commander, all I remember from him is that he has an ability to highlight nearby tasks, aka the generators and the killer, and it's just like, I didn't play those two because I didn't see a point in playing them. Why would I want to know where the tasks are? The tasks are so obvious. You go around the map, they're the biggest things that you can interact with. It's clear what the tasks are, and I don't need to know where the killer is because 90% of the time the killer is on the other side of the map and they don't know where I am is the problem. So That doesn't need to happen. And the barbarian, no one needs to stun the killer because the killer is barely going to ever kill anybody. Realistically, the only time the killer ever killed anybody was like because of some weird fucking workaround. But when I was playing, 90% of the time, no one died, and the few times people did die was because of carelessness. And even then, they only ever killed like 1 or 2 people. So it is entirely out of the equation that the killer, ironically, can even kill people because the killers are so bad. I only had 1 round as killer out of 10 rounds. I said this earlier, but whatever. I only had 1 round as killer, and that round was god fucking awful. Okay, I just wanted to say, the Firefox tab on the bottom left is because I got so bored of playing the game, I pulled up a Firefox window and tried to find the image of Miku Binder Thomas Jefferson, and for the record, that's gonna be in the bottom for like the rest of this footage. So I hope you're okay with that. And we're gonna fall down a rabbit hole. There's gonna be a subplot of the video where I fall down the Miku Binder Thomas Jefferson rabbit hole. I hope you're okay with this. Back to your regularly scheduled program. Was god fucking awful. I played the harder character, admittedly, quote unquote harder. They were still pretty easy, but yeah. So the swing, I'm not sure if it's on that character specifically, but the swing, or the M1, gives you like such a debilitating slowdown. It is the slowest slowdown of all time. You get slowed to a fucking crawl when you M1 as a killer, and it is demoralizing to see someone you very obviously could have killed if you were just if they just got rid of that slowness, get away scot-free because the game just decided, fuck you, make you slow as shit, make you as slow as a snail, you're fucking fat as fuck. What was that for? What? That's not like balancing. That's like a Band-Aid fix. Like I said earlier, it feels the exact same. Like I said, as the killer is able to see everyone highlight, because it doesn't show where they're moving or where the survivors are moving. It just shows like where they were standing. So by the time you reach where the highlight was, they're gone. So the highlight is useless. It's like that. It's like, why do I get slowed so much by playing the game? That's fucking awful. They should get rid of that. And it feels so hard to kill anyone, ironically, solely because of how slow you get when M1ing. You get so slow that it's practically impossible to kill anyone, and it sucks to play as killer. I never killed anyone on a very possibly powerful character. They seem like they have a lot going for them, and if that slowness was just removed, you could have a moderately fun kill on your hands. But no, the debilitating slowdown made it drastically unfun to play as a killer. And I only played once, and I was like, I never want to do that again. And I kind of skimmed past it, but the maps are so big. The maps are huge, and like that's not a bad thing. I know the game Outcome Memories and probably hundreds of others have big maps that exist because the games are designed for it, but Alter Ego isn't designed for these big maps. The thing with Outcome Memories is that it's a very fast-paced game. The killer is usually faster than the survivors, and the survivors in and of themselves are pretty fast. So you get into chases left and right. Everyone's helping each other. So even though these maps are pretty big, they do feel small and confined. In Alter Ego, the maps are big, and since everyone is doing their own thing, and the killer doesn't know where anyone is, nothing happens. So the whole game is a killer going over here and there's no one over there, and then go over here, and then you meet 1 or 2 people, and it's dependent. It kind of doesn't really matter if you kill them, because at that point the game's over and you move on, and then you're never going to play killer for another few rounds, and that sucks. And it sucks that way because are you fucking kidding me? I just got another Discord thing. And it sucks that way because you really just want to play the game, but you're not allowed to. You're not allowed to interact with anything. The only thing you're allowed to interact with as a survivor is the generators. And like I said before, the generators, they suck. You get 6% when you do a puzzle right, and then if you do it wrong, you get shot down by 20%. It's debilitating. It's heart-wrenching. It sucks. So nothing's interacting with each other, right? That's kind of the thing of alter ego. The whole game sucks, obviously, but nothing is coming together. Nothing is conjoining to create, at the very least, a moderately fun experience. Because even when those things do come together, if a killer does end up finding the survivors, due to the fact that it's so hard to kill anybody, you're never going to be at threat as long as you're not the one being chased. Because if you're the one being chased, it's kind of, you don't know if you're going to die, if you're going to survive. But if you're not being chased, you don't even need to bother about anything, because you're just going to win. You're just going to automatically win every interaction, because the killer is kind of forced to go after the survivor that is weaker than you, because that means they have an easier chance, because of how much bullshit the game puts on the killers to I guess elongate the game, or to make it more fair. I don't know. But if you're not weak, if your health isn't below like 80 in this game, then you're or like 70, then you're fine. Like, you're not gonna get targeted, or the killer isn't gonna switch targets onto you. You can do whatever the fuck you want. It just depends. So yeah, the summary of the whole thing. The game sucks because the maps are so huge, nothing is conjoining. The killers usually only ever find 1 or 2 survivors. The survivors have such little stuff to do, and even then, the survivors and killers' movesets, they are not fun to play. It's just the whole thing, right? I think the term disconnected or disjointed kind of goes for the whole game. I know I said it specifically for the killers and survivors interacting, but no, it's the whole game. The whole game doesn't feel like it's building to anything. So I'm gonna go listen to Hatsune Miku. Tune in next week to when I talk about something I actually like.